What if you could get anything you wanted? Not through magic, but through straight-up psychological warfare. Well, today, we're going to tear into one of the most provocative counterculture manuals ever written, Anton LaVey's 1971 book, The Satanic Witch. Right from the get-go, the book hits you with this wild line from LaVey's own daughter. And look, it's designed to do one thing: unsettle you and make it crystal clear that you've just stepped into a world where all the normal rules are about to get thrown out the window.
All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We're breaking the book's core ideas down into 5 key parts. We're going to see just how this super controversial system of manipulation works, from its core philosophy all the way to its most practical and frankly shocking advice.
Okay, so first things first, what does this book even mean by witch? Yeah, forget everything you think you know about cauldrons and broomsticks. LaVey's witch operates on a totally different level, one that's way more grounded and, in his view, a whole lot more dangerous. So here's the big takeaway. This book completely redefines a witch as a master of earthly manipulation, not some conjurer of spirits. The power comes from within, from understanding human nature, and let's be real, specifically male nature as LeVey sees it, and then exploiting it with zero apologies. And this is where we get to the core of it, the really controversial part. This book was written as a direct slap in the face to the feminism of its time. While feminists were trying to break down traditional gender roles, LeVey was arguing that a woman's true power wasn't in rejecting her femininity, but in weaponizing it. So, you might be asking, what kind of philosophy justifies this level of manipulation? Well, it all boils down to a core satanic principle: indulgence over compulsion. LeVey has absolutely no time for what he calls white witchcraft. He thinks it's for people who are kidding themselves. He even makes this wild analogy, comparing white witches to good murderers who feel guilty about their power. The Satanic Witch, on the other hand, is like a bad murderer. She embraces her true amoral nature and uses her power without a second thought. So let's break down the core beliefs here. In LeVey's world, Satanism is basically radical self-worship. Pride is a virtue. And men are simply resources. You can call them allies or quarries. For the Satanic Witch, real freedom isn't something you win through politics. It's something you seized through skillful personal manipulation. Okay, this is where it gets really fascinating, because this isn't just a bunch of philosophical ideas, it's a system, it's a method. And LeVey introduces this, let's call it a tool, called the LaVey Personality Synthesizer. Basically, you can think of it like a cheat sheet for reading people. The whole goal is to size someone up in a flash, figure out their type based on how they look and act, and then, use their own weaknesses and secret desires against them. So here's a quick look at how this clock works. The whole system is built on one simple idea: opposites attract. The book argues that to really enchant someone, a witch has to become the living image of their polar opposite. So a dominant 12 o'clock person will be totally drawn to a passive 6 o'clock type, and, vice versa. The book puts it pretty bluntly, and yeah, a bit vulgarly. Treat a slut like a lady and a lady like a slut. The idea is to figure out what someone isn't and what they secretly crave to be. You see a tough guy, you approach them with intellectualism. You see an academic, you approach them with earthy simplicity. You basically become the missing piece of their personality puzzle. Okay, so you've used the clock, you've pegged your target's type, now what? Well, this is where the book gets really practical, laying out the specific tools for the witch's arsenal. And trust me, they are not what you'd expect. Now listen up, because this is maybe the single most important tactic in the entire book. It's called the law of the forbidden. It's not about being obvious or overtly sexual. It's all about creating this powerful illusion of an accidental reveal. The real power is in making someone think they've stolen a secret glimpse. And it's a whole 4-step process. First, you act all proper, right? You establish that nice lady vibe. Then, step 2, you engineer an accident. Maybe a button pops open or your skirt rides up just a little when you bend over. Step 3, and this is the most important part, you have to act like you have no idea it happened. This makes the target feel like a voyeur, like they've discovered a secret. And that, according to LeVey, generates this thing he calls lust power. And the toolkit just keeps going. We're talking about everything from wearing bright red lipstick as a sexual signal to, get this, actually using your natural body odors instead of scrubbing them away. It's all about mastering flattering lies and even playing dumb on purpose, what he calls calculated stupidity, so the man you're bewitching never feels intellectually inferior. Every single tool is designed to manage a man's ego and perception of you.
So, what's the end game here? Where does all this manipulation lead? Well, it all culminates in what LeVey provocatively calls bitchcraft. And yeah, he means that. This is the master level of the art.
According to this book, the whole nice girls finish last thing is a massive understatement. The ultimate witch is a master of social chess. She can be absolutely ruthless when navigating female rivalries, while at the same time putting on this completely charming, captivating show for men. She plays both sides to her own advantage. And this is where things get, well, pretty weird. The book makes this claim that even attention you don't want has value. It uses this strange metaphor, saying every 25-watt man out there who's lusting after you is actually unknowingly sending you psychic energy, like he's literally charging your battery and making you more powerful. And that is the ultimate goal. The whole point is to accumulate this lust power, this psychic energy harvested from the desires and fantasies of other people. That is what gives the witch her real power to shape her world and get exactly what she wants. So in the end, the Satanic Witch paints this picture of a world where every single social interaction is just a calculated performance for personal gain. It's a deeply cynical view for sure, but it's also kind of fascinating. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In our own lives, how much of what we do is genuine expression and how much is just, playing the game.